lot of things were misconstrued about how Coach Prime handled his pregame last year. And I totally understood how he handled it. He did at Jackson State too, but I totally understood how he handled it, being he's a coach, but he's a former player, but he's still prepared kind of like a player, getting into that mindset, not speaking in how, what do you call it? Jocks, whatever, with the coach before the game, laughing and grinning and stuff. He's in his football mind state. Okay. I said that to say because this year we see that from other coaches on the staff, like Warren Sapp. A lot of people think he's just out there bouncing around before the game, being silly. No, that's getting in game form, shape, mindset right there.
Yeah.
And for him to do that and to translate it to the defensive line, I think we're seeing the fruits of that right now. That's that from the special teams coordinator to Vincent Dancy to D. Lewis to Warren Sapp to Rob Livingston. That whole thing is NFL style mindset right now, and that's what got these guys rocking and not stopping.
Well, honestly, just look at that defensive line group, which you're talking about, and this is not meant to put anybody down, but look how differently they're being coached this year than they were last year. And Sal Sunseri has been coaching. He coached for a very long time, very successful. His way has worked a lot, but old school guy, older guy, and we saw a lot in the videos where he's screaming at the guys, right? And it's a lot of tough love, I guess, but it's really a lot of yelling at them and things like that. And we watched the videos with the guys that are here now, and it's yelling at them, but it's getting in their face and saying, "I believe in you. Let's go. You can do this." And
it's a not to cut you off. It's a challenge type yell.
It's a challenge type. Yes.
It's the instructional type yell. It's a I'm with you type. It's a I could demonstrate it type yell too. And that's no disrespect to Coach Sal, who's been doing it for a long time.
But there's also when you watch the videos and things, and there's also that Warren Sapp or Damian Lewis will get in Chidozi's face or Amari's face, whatever, and say, "Do it this way. You're not doing it this way." Then they do it. And what do? They're right there.
They love on them.
They're celebrating with them. I mean, they're chest bumping them, things like that. And you watch the game videos, those guys when you can see the eyes of Warren Sapp and Damian Lewis, don't they look possessed at times because they're bringing the intensity?
Yes, that's because they're getting in football game mode as players and coaches. It's hard to just say, even with me. That's why before seeing these guys, I realized or I thought that I can't be on this sideline.
Yeah.
I can't be on this sideline because I was coaching in college and back in Alabama, not at Alabama, but in Alabama.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't be on this sideline because I want to play, or I'm trying to translate it to them, and maybe I'm doing it too much. But seeing these guys do it, I realized, okay, I wasn't crazy. No, I wasn't a Hall of Famer or anything, but I was in that same mindset on the sideline of I'm preparing just like I'm playing, and I want it to translate to my players.
Yeah, and I just think their style, and again, Sal Sunseri's style has worked for a long time, but I think their style and how they coach, and because they're younger guys, and I think you probably also have to throw in. I don't think you can discount the fact that they're also African American guys, right? Talking to African American players, I think that they speak to these guys more so than maybe Sal Sunseri did.
I think it's culturally, and that doesn't go with skin. I don't think that's skin tone, because you look at Coach Rob.
That's true.
I think he's understanding the culture of the NFL mindset and the next play mindset and just you could be gone tomorrow type mindset. So let's get this done right now. And I could show you it better than I could tell you almost. Coach Rob played. He understands the culture of being in the trenches in football. Coach Damian Lewis. So that's why they can all work together like a family. I like what Philip Duke said on the podcast earlier. He said they can work together like a family, and the best kids are raised within a community, right? When they say a community or village raises the child, that means that you can go down the street and get whooped by Auntie Mary the same way you can get whooped by your mom. She can discipline you too. Well, and there's no disdain about that. Same thing on this defensive line. You're going to listen to Coach Vincent Dancy, same way you're going to listen to Uncle Sap, same way you're going to listen to Daddy Damian Lewis or Father Rob Livingston, the same way. You know, it doesn't matter. All of them can spank you. So you're not running to either one of them to get no favorable treatment. You're going to get it. You know, it might be in different terminologies, but you're going to get it the same way. So you might as well get your mind right on that defense.
Yeah, and I guess what I mean by that is a lot of times you hear players say that it does make an impact when you're being coached by somebody that they say looks like me, right? And that came from the same area as me. And so you're right, though. It's not just skin tone, because Robert Livingston's bringing that as well. But the bigger picture, the bigger point is that the energy coming from that defensive staff has got to be ratcheted up 10 times over what it was last year. 100%. And I think that the players love it. And I think that, yes, you've got a different mindset of player, and then that different mindset of coach. And when they mesh and when they can fuel each other, now all of a sudden you got kind of a mean front seven.
You got what you've been seeing so far. Only 2.6 yard per carry last game.
Right. And let's not forget Andre Hart, because his linebackers are balling too. And so
Coach Hilo.
Yes, and everybody in that front seven has made a difference. And I'm watching that game the other day, and I'm like, man, Nakai Hill-Green hits the snot out of people. And Levante Bentley, when he hits the hole, he can hit the snot out of you. You know, Chidozie Nwankwo, Amari McNeil, a couple of hits he had the other day was like, whoa.
It's like they're competing on that defense to say who's gonna get to the ball first, who's gonna have the hardest hit. You know, I would love to, know that from the inside, whether they have some type of bounty or something like that in a good way. Like who's going to get the hardest hit, who's going to have the most.
Be careful with bounty there.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Shout out to Coach Gary Williams from the Saints. RIP Coach. What was Warren Sapp defensive coordinator name? Marty Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's dad, I think it is, right? Marty Kiffin. Monty was a hell of a defensive coordinator out there, and I'm sure he did things like that. Maybe not a bounty, but competition amongst that defense with Derek Brooks and Barber and Lynch and Sapp, Simeon Rice, and so on. So, hey, man,
by the way,
forward to it.
Let me give you a quick stat, because I'm a stat guy. Arden Walker had 2 sacks the other day. So did BJ Green. But Arden became the 6th different guy to post a 2-sack game this season for this team. Last year they had 1. It was Jordan Dominic had 1 2-sack game. They've had 6 different guys have a 2-sack game this year.
Wow, that's huge right there.
So these
you
guys
can see the sacks right here. I think the leader in sacks, Amari McNeil, has 2.5 sacks on an inside position. That's huge. BJ Green with 5 so far. You mentioned Arden Walker, who has 3 sacks. Also, a guy I want to mention, Keaton Wade, who really been balling. I think he is not on this list, but I think he has 3 or 4 sacks in just the 3. Well, Coach Prime said he has 3 sacks in the 3 games he's played so far this season. So I think he has one more to play before it's considered a red shirt for Keaton Wade.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's going to change his mind on that, the way he's playing and the way this team is playing, to where he just says, nah, let's keep going. Because
I think, what does he have, 2 or 3 years left?
Yeah, he's got a couple years left. And with him starting to make an impact now, you have 3 games left, potentially a Big 12 title game, potentially a college football playoff.
Or you want to sit out those games?
I don't know if you want to sit those out. I wonder if Keaton Wade's kind of thinking, never mind, coach. Let's just keep going. Let's go all out.
I'm balling right now. So
because he is balling.
All right, before we get out of here, I know we're overtime right now. We got to go ahead and give our predictions for the game, which I think, based on what we said earlier, we think it could be a big blowout. I've been more prone to pick blowout wins, 17+ victories, as you call blowouts. So I'm going to go. As a matter of fact, you want to go first this time as I think about it?
I can go first. I was saying I don't see how Utah wins this game. I just think on paper, I look at it, I think it's a great matchup for CU. Their offense can't score. I mean, the last 5 games they're averaging 14 points a game, and they're going back to Isaac Wilson, who they benched last week because he wasn't getting the job done. Now they really have no choice. They're going back to him. Their top receivers are out. I think that CU's defense can feast on them. I think they're going to have a field day. I don't know how Utah scores many points. The trick is going to be, it's hard to score on Utah. They have not given up more than 27 points in a game, and that happened once. Other than that, nobody else has scored more than 23. So I don't see the Buffs putting up big numbers. I've got to respect that Utah defense a little bit. I still think CU is going to put up more than anybody has, but I'm going to go Buffs 31, Utah 13.
All right, so we're going pretty much with the averages and giving the Buffs a little bit more on the back end, the 31-13. I like that score. I will be very satisfied with that score. I think it'll be with their offense not being able to score, that's going to give our offense a few more chances to score against that Utah defense. Leaves them on the field a lot more. They get a little bit more tired than what they would be in the altitude, having to face this high-powered offense. Hit them in the mouth with a couple of runs, but we can go over the top, I think, of this defense eventually in the game. However we get our rhythm, I think once we hit our stride, it's going to be hard to really stop these guys. With the extra possessions, I'm going to go, I say 34 also, around that 34 mark. 34, just to change it up, I'll say 35. 30.
Well, I said 31. I said 31, so you can go
31. Okay, you said 31. Yeah. I'll say 34 then.
Okay.
34. And I'll go ahead and give them 34-14. Could be a 34-10 mark, but I'm going to say 34-14. We're both going with blowouts as the blower is coming behind me. We'll get up out of here, but we appreciate everybody for joining in. Y'all know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and so on. This has been Big Dog Chico and my guy Brian Howard right here on the BR Creators app on Bleacher Report. We'll be back with more next week with the Colorado Buffaloes midweek live. Find us on YouTube, search our names, and it'll pop up. Brian, you got anything to add?
No, I'm just looking forward to getting to another game and seeing this road to the Big 12 title game continue.
All right, well, y'all know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. We're going to be up and about this thing until next week. Colorado Buffaloes midweek live. We out of here. Peace in the Middle East. Yeah.